discomfort for Juni there.
Yeah.
Our cameras only picked up the aftermath of that incident with Kualifikasi. But well, I would say Sasaki was still some way from peak fitness coming here, Matt, and a crash on the exit of Savelli, one of the faster downhill swoops on this track.
Yes.
It's really the last thing that the young Japanese rider needed.
Guys, I just actually had a word with Johan Sigurfeld, and he explained to me that apparently Toba high-sided and Yumi Sasaki just had nowhere to go. But as you just mentioned, he's back in the box. I'll go and have a word in a minute. But he's clutching that ankle, which you'll remember he's already previously injured.
Thanks for that, Amy. Confirmation there then. That seems, the Sasaki, a lot of bad luck for him lately then. That's very, very unfortunate. He caught up in someone else's incident. But yes, good to see him back in the garage, get an update on his full condition soon. Hopefully he's able to ride. It's one of those things though, isn't it, when you're having a run of bad luck, you're already injured. At what point do you say, I need to sit this out? Very, very, very difficult at this stage, isn't it? Especially if you're Sasaki up to this point been on very much quite a big upward trajectory in terms of his results and pace. We know that one thing, he's always had the pace. His team well and truly believe in him. You got Asia Talent Cup and Red Bull Rookies prowess from Sasaki. Such prestige and promise around him, so fast. But the one thing I've been working on this year is trying to get that overtaken sort of that front end confidence, dive on the inside, take the inside line, and make the overtakes that he needs to do to get the results that he needs. And he was getting there. But at what point, if you're feeling really hurt and injured, at what point do you go, I need to take a break?
Yeah, exactly. There's sometimes when you need to make that decision by yourself or have a team guide you in a certain way. And Sasaki, well, that team was confident that he would be regularly challenging for the top 6 positions once this championship came back to Europe after the first 3 flyaway runs of the year. And as yet, that hasn't quite happened. He was up in the podium fight at the first race in Qatar. Sasaki hasn't quite hit those highs since then, but as you mentioned, Matt, he has been riding injured at Le Mans, and if he does take part in qualifying today and the race, we assume he will be doing the same thing here.
Yes, and meanwhile Bezzecchi is about to come across the finish line. Personal best as you would expect. He didn't get too many laps under his belt, from 17th to 7th place in the times at the moment, 1:58.214. Bezzecchi is just under half a second off the fastest time at the moment. Needs to get to those 1:58s though. 1:57s even. He was in the high 1:57s yesterday. So Bezzecchi, he needs to knock a few tenths off to get up to yesterday's pace. Plenty of time to do it though. Well, we've got 4 minutes left of this session, and then we got this afternoon's 40-odd minute qualifying session to do so. Bezzecchi though, not the best qualifying performances we've seen from him so far this year. Always you do wonder if he can get that, get the qualifying times banged in, then he's a real force to be reckoned with, just like he was in Le Mans.
He's been rather steady in qualifying, Matt. Qualifying in the 2nd row, 3rd row for the majority of the races. I think he's only had 1 front row start this year.
That was from Argentina, where he was 2nd.
It was indeed, yes. But on the whole, if you can qualify the front 2 rows in Moto3, I think you're putting yourself in a good chance on Sunday. And this man really has saved his best for Sunday this year. Hit me?
Guys, I'm going to bring you back down to Yumi Sasaki's box and have a word with their team manager, Johan Sigurfeld. Firstly, horrible accident for Yumi. What does he think he's done at the moment? He was clutching that ankle again, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, coming out of turn 7, Kaito Toba high-sided, he said, in front of him, and he had nowhere to go, so he ran into him and then made a pretty bad crash, and he hurt his foot again, the left ankle, which hurt in Le Mans. So he's in big pain, and now he's checking the ankle.
On the other side of your box, Adam Noureddin, looking so good and so strong this morning. What's made the difference?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, we had 3 bad races now. We've been having a lot of talks with Adam, and we need to do something. Of course, we did something with the bike as well to help him improve his feeling, and it's going really strong. yeah, we're really happy to see Adam doing that, and hopefully can have a good weekend here in Mugello. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks very much to Johan, and thank you, Amy, as well, for that enlightening interview. And while we were listening to Johan speak, we saw this man here, Marco Bezzecchi, on our screens, putting in quite a solid run of laps. And if you're a team manager, that's exactly what you want to see from a rider, recovering from a crash and going straight back out there and going immediately faster.
Yeah, a sign of supreme confidence, no dent into that confidence at all, is it? Here's out of Norridin, man that Johan Stigfeld and Amy were just talking about as well. Norridin in amongst, can't even see him anymore in that big group. So many riders on our screens at the moment. Norridin, the number 7, in 6th place at the moment. Good form from him.
And it's easy to forget just how much pressure Adam Norridin is under. MotoGP Grand Prix racing, obviously a huge deal in Malaysia, his homeland, especially now with Hafi Sire competing in the MotoGP class, and Norridin under some big pressure to perform, to get the results, to move on and progress to the next stage of his career in Moto2. And so far, as Johan mentioned, those results just haven't really been forthcoming. But a brief trip home back to Malaysia hopefully has cleared his head somewhat, and we're seeing a better performance from here, from him here in Mugello.
A happy rider is a fast rider. It's the thing you always hear about it. Some of the most important parts of your bike setup is the 6 inches between your ears. I think a wise man once said. Definitely not me then. Mino, meanwhile, has gone up to the top of the times once again. He's just been following Jorge Martin around. Meanwhile, look at that. Bezzecchi's putting in 3 red sectors as well. He's up to 5th at the moment, bumped down a little bit from earlier. The time's really starting to tumble now, getting towards those low 157s. Still not troubling Martin's times from yesterday though, but most of these times, the Mino's time from this morning would actually put him just about 5th or 4th in the overall time he's across the weekend as well. Bezzecchi crosses the line, he goes pole, not pole, but first position now with that low 157, the first one we've seen this morning.
You're getting a little bit ahead of yourself there, man. Pole position.
Qualifying yet? Can we hurry up with this?
Not until this afternoon, but Bezzecchi putting in a really strong performance and a strong run after that crash which disrupted the mid part of his session. And you'd have to say Mino did get a real big drag from Jorge Martin coming onto that main strip, which would surely be worth 1 or 2 tenths at the very least. Bezzecchi is riding all alone, so his lap time is all the more impressive.
Worth 1 or 2 tenths, but I think Fabio Di Giannantonio is going to be very fortunate here to maintain those red sectors in amongst this gaggle of riders. But he's behind me, look, Mikhail Yurchenko at the moment looking for a way around. Philip Earl behind him making a move on Alonso Lopez, and now Di Giannantonio having to go round the outside. That is definitely going to have to scupper his lap. Bastianini's there on some better pace as well. Hopefully he's found something from earlier.
Look at our timing screens here, Matt. We've got about 20 different red helmets in the different sectors across this track, and I'm sure many of those are from riders that are in this big gaggle of...
Suzuki goes a bit, makes a bit of a check move on the Kazakhstani rider there. Di Giannantonio up on the inside. His lap has gone away. Meanwhile, Martin, who was lapping with Mino at the time, he has put in 2 more red sectors. Won't comment on every single one that comes across the line. I'm sure we're about to see some major shuffles on the time screens. First gaggle of riders over the line. And a whole load of different... Look at those changes. Martin's gone top then from Bezzecchi. It takes from McPhee up to 4th, though. That's pretty impressive as well. Martin fastest there. Not anywhere near his time from earlier. Still, his fastest time overall is at 1:57.104. He just put in 1:57.337. So, has everybody crossed the finish line all in one go? Pretty much they have, haven't they? Bezzecchi's still out on track at the moment, yet to cross the finish line, as is Arbolino on that first big timing screen. What finish that was.
Yeah, exactly. Bezzecchi about half a second off his quickest time of the session, so it's unlikely that he will improve. Here's Toby Arbolino going under the wild card Manuel Pagliani at the final turn, and Arbolino done in 18th. We would expect a little bit better from the young Italian here at his home race, and he's around second off. It's hard to see him getting that time back as he approaches the start-finish line. But Martin fastest again in this session. That's 3 from 3 so far this weekend, Matt.
Yeah, very, very impressive indeed. Quite ominous. We're so used to seeing this now. Jorge Martin, can't say it enough. The man just knows how to bang out those enormous, seriously fast lap times. And there's Arbolino getting a little bit squirrely under braking just to finish off the session. There's Martin himself pulling a wheelie. Fastest lap today, 14 laps in this session for him.
And not very much time in it, it has to be said, at the front of this session, with Bezzecchi second, just 0.03 of a second back. I think Bezzecchi's performance towards the end of that, after his crash, is a real, well, a warning for Jorge Martin that he will be there in qualifying today and definitely in tomorrow's race.
And would you look at that, Bezzecchi 0.30 but 0.030 back from Martin. Then you got a whole 10.5 or so back to Mino in third place. So that's quite a significant gap. But then if you look down your timing screens, it's you got the top 16 covered by 0.999 seconds. How close is that?
And some decent performances all the way down the top 15. You have Enea Bastianini, who was nowhere yesterday, climbing to 7th right at the end of FP3, and Nicolo Bulaga, well, the much maligned Nicolo Bulaga, a solid performance in 11th. I think he was 9th yesterday morning, Matt. So a solid weekend for the Italian, much improved on what we have seen so far in 2018.
Yeah, indeed, that would be good to see Nicolo Bulaga fighting back up the front where he really belongs as well. A bit like this guy Andrea Migno off the back of that second place finish in Le Mans, his first podium of the year with this new team. Your winner here last year, of course, with the Sky VR46 racing team. Can Migno carry that form through and pull off another miracle? Well, he qualified 12th last year and still managed to pull off the win. It is anybody's guess who could take the win tomorrow. It is just a complete lottery.
As we see Jorge Martin engage in a practice start and a fine stand-up wheelie. It really has been the perfect week.
Popping wheelies, these guys, can't they? They just love it.
Exactly, you can't. 3 from 3 for this man here, who is believed, well, it's believed that we will hear an announcement on his 2019 plans, maybe in the coming hours, Matt.
Yes, that would be very interesting indeed. And although I guess with someone like Jorge Martin, lots of riders, they like to get these deals sorted underway so they can just fully concentrate on the task at hand of winning the championship. But with someone like Jorge Martin, you'd think it was always a given from the very start of the season with the form he had this year, last year. This would be his final year. But there he is then, top of the times, Jorge Martin, still your fastest from yesterday's section as well. Marco Bezzecchi, though, has moved up to second overall of the combined times, ahead of Aaron Canet and Andrea Migno there up in the 4th. Tatsuki Suzuki, Philip Ertel and Kaito Toba haven't improved in this session. That will partly be due to Kaito Toba being involved in that incident with Ayumu Sasaki. Marcus Ramirez there and Jakob Kornfall have also improved. Likewise, Enea Bastianini, much better from him this morning. Fabio Di Gianantonio looks like he's still got a lot of work to do, but these times are tight. Adam Norridin is there in 12th ahead of Bulaga, John McPhee there in 14th, Nicola Antonelli, Albert Arenas and Jaume Massio there in 17th place. Dennis Foggia and Lorenzo Dalla Porta there in 18th and 19th. Tony Arbolino has also improved this morning, but Ayumu Sasaki, Darren Binder, Gabriel Rodrigo, Alonso Lopez and Kazuki Masaki have yet to make any improvements on their times today. Onto the final screen then we have Livio Loy, Nakarin Atarat Pugapat, Manuel Pagliani, Mikhail Yurchenko and the wildcard Stefano Nepa there bringing up the rear in 30th. So that is it from Moto3 FP1. Up next, the all-important MotoGP FP3. I just said that Moto3 FP1, I mean FP3 of course, qualifying up next for them. Me and Neil will be back for Moto2 FP3 a little bit later on. Enjoy MotoGP!
To look out for. He's had a win, obviously, we know that much. I wonder if he's had the pole position.
Yeah, can't answer that one. That's going to be one to troll through the record book a little bit later on. Here's a man who's starting to impress. In fact, he's impressed me all the way through this season, Romano Fenati. Probably overshadowed a little bit by the brilliant performance of Juan Mir, but he's quietly gone about his business. Fenati, that's 7th place in Le Mans, the first time he scored points in the Moto2 World Championship, and slowly but surely the 22-year-old gets into grips with Moto2. The worst run of his career. Never gone 5 races without a point scoring finish for Romano Fenati, so it's good to see him back inside that top 10. He's having a good session here as well in Mugello. 6th place in the timesheet. He's been right on board with Alex Marquez, who's still clinging on to that place in the front row through RBR1, that standard Honda CBR 600 based engine screaming on the red lines that came from RBR1.
Train of bikes coming through then. Lorenzo Baldassari still with work to do. 25th, here is Alex Marquez, part of that scrap last year with Mattia Pizzini and Tom Luthi. Top 3 fight that went all the way to the line.
Yeah, Lorenzo Baldassari seemed a little bit stuck at the moment in those low 153s. He can't buy a 152 at the moment in his qualifying session. And he needs to find something because he's running out of time and still down in 25th place.
Bit of cruising going on here. You know, sometimes have to wonder whether the same rules should apply in the larger classes as it does in Moto3, because there'd be 1 or 2 punishments being handed out for riders that do this in the latter stages. Fabio Quartararo there was trying to sit up and find someone to pick himself past. Now here's a good effort coming from the championship leader, Pecco Bagnaia. He's got to go some if he wants to find his way in the front row, given the gap between Pizzini and Marquez, 600ths of a second.
Yeah, it's a good lap this from Bagnaia, but it's probably not going to cut it in terms of the front row. Still got time though to dodge himself into that front row battle. He's been shadowed by his teammate Luca Marini, who's had his injury problems, still suffering with that dislocated shoulder, which curtailed his performance last time out in Le Mans. He's having a tough time right now, Luca Marini. I'm sure I checked some stats on his quick team. Mir doesn't improve. Stays in 8th place, so he's still got to find a bit of speed in these last 4.5 minutes as it's getting pretty busy down at San Donato.
Is this a race or is this qualifying? 4.5 minutes to go. Again, another strong lap coming here from Pecco Bagnaia. The championship leader is throwing everything into this just to try and nudge his way onto that front row.
Lorenzo Baldassari got the shovel out, dug deep and found 7/10 of a second in the blink of an eye. Baldassari on the move up into 14th place, so 152.329, so we'll keep a close eye on Baldassari's progress at the end of this session.
Yeah, it's got the feeling of close but no cigar here, hasn't it, for Pecco Bagnaia, unless he can find an almighty chunk of time on this last lap. Now, has he just got himself in prime position? No, not slipstream ways. He's dealt with Bo Ben Snyder, and across the line here for Pecco Bagnaia. Still 4 minutes left of the session, still enough time. He stays in 4th.
Bo Ben Snyder, you've got to give him credit. He still hasn't scored a point in his Moto2 career so far. He's 23rd in this session, but he's only 1.1 seconds back at Pizzini's best time. Arguably the toughest time to come into the Moto2 World Championship this year. Quality riders, quality machinery. There's no slouches in the field at all. And Bo Ben Snyder, 23rd, doesn't sound great at all, does it? But in terms of his lap times, he's not a million miles away.
He's getting closer and closer to points finishes, is Ben Snyder. I mean, he's finishing races. This is ridiculous.
Well, another half a second, Steve. He's in the top 10.
Yeah, that is the thing. And it will come for Bo Ben Snyder. It will come. 3 minutes to go in this session. There's an awful lot of messing around going on. This is like a Moto3 session match, surely.
Well, they're going to have to get busted, aren't they? You can't have one rule for one class and one rule for another. I mean, these guys are cruising.
Not acceptable, especially when it's more experienced riders here as well that we're dealing with. And they're going to trip each other up a little here into turn one as well. There are no particularly strong laps coming through at this moment in time with 2.5 to go.
Alex Marquez just trying to pick his way through some heavy traffic, trying to get himself a bit of clear road in front of him to try and hunt down maybe Passini's 150.1575, although Passini may take it away from the field. He's just come through sector 1, Passini, up by a fraction, not much in it, just 100 clear of his previous best time in sector 1, but if he carries that lap through, then it will be the pole record, the fastest ever lap of a Moto2 bike around Mugello. We'll keep close tabs on Passini.
He's just on the tail of this group that we're watching here.
He's lost a massive chunk of time.
Oh yeah, he's made a mistake. He's made a big mistake somewhere. He was just behind Joan Mir at the back of that group. Something's gone wrong. So that lap goes away. He'll get round for one more if he fancies it.
Andy Kent's just gone up into 13th place, so he now leads the speed-up challenge. It's put him 1 place ahead of Fabio Quartararo, although Quartararo was on a real good lap. What about this from the Frenchman? He's coming into some traffic though through Biondetti 1 and 2. Now if he can use the slipstream, yeah, it's cost him time. That traffic in that third sector has cost him crucial time, and it doesn't help his cause when Simone Corsi just sits up coming out of that fast Biondetti 2.
Yeah, I don't know what Simone Corsi's thinking there. At this stage of a session, to be sitting up at that point is ridiculous. On to the start-finish straight we go. Here comes Fabio Quartararo. He's going to get some slipstream here behind fellow Frenchman Jules Danilo. He'll have one more lap as well. Where can he find himself now? Quartararo goes across the line. No improvement.
Passini, Steve, rolled off so much. He came through sector 3, 11.5 seconds slower than his best time. He's trying to find somebody either to hook onto the back of here or just trying to get himself some clear track to get in that gung-ho last lap maybe. Quartararo gets up the inside of his fellow Frenchman Jules Danilo. Troubles and toils continue in Moto2. Difficult start for Danilo in the SAC team. He's down in 29th place at the moment, just over 2 seconds off the best pace. What's Xavi Vierge got late on? 10th place. Not what we've come to expect of late from the Spanish rider, and this is nothing to write home about on this lap either.
No, looking like a salvage operation in Mugello, isn't it, at the moment for Xavi Vierge? Not really looked a threat to the top 3 all weekend. The checkered flag is about to go out as well, so across the line there for Sam Lowe. No improvement for him. He'll be disappointed with 12th after the pace he's been showing all weekend. Vierge likewise in 10th. In fact, that's it. The times that were set earlier on, and it's not the first time this has happened so far this year, unless my eyes are deceiving me, that is your lot. It's just simply got a bit too hot late on in this session, and that's why those times are so crucial early on.
Yeah, Passini's got a good look at Marcel Schrotter here. These two men, the top 2 in this qualifying session, they could be having a real good scrap for the win tomorrow. Boy Navarro is looking to pick up a couple of spots late on in this session. He's 16th at the moment. There he is on the Federal Gresini KTM, Calex rather. He's going to get some decent slipstream here as well, Navarro. This may be pushing him up a couple more spots. 14th was estimated position. We'll track him over line behind Simone Corsi. Does he pick up those couple of places or more? He does. Well, there you go. That's the benefit of the slipstream. Boy Navarro picked up 7 places, fired himself up inside that top 10. So good lap, last lap by the Spanish man. checkered flag is out, and it looks like Pesini has taken pole position. Great late charge by Lorenzo Baldassarri as well. Let's not forget he was on the deck at turn 10 earlier on in this session at Scarperia, and he has just found himself late on up into 8th place.
Brilliant then for Mattia Pesini. That's got to be Mattia Pesini's sister, is it? Is that Mattia Pesini's sister? I don't want to guess because I don't want to say it's his sister and it ends up being his girlfriend, because my word, she looked a bit like Mattia Pesini.
She did look.
She looked a lot like him.
Yeah.
I can't.
To be fair, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I might put my foot in it there.
The ice at the moment is holding firm underneath your feet. So.
Either way, a brilliant job from Mattia Pesini then. He has done it here in Mugello. It's his 6th Moto2 pole, 17th in total. What a job from him. Brilliant stuff. Funnily enough, the last time Pesini was on pole, Marcel Trotter was 2nd. It happened at Phillip Island. Now, let's have a look here. Hector Barbara just sitting up Alex Marquez there. Right on board, look at it from Marquez's angle. Well, I don't know if there's going to be much else to be played for that. He's on the front row, Alex Marquez. I don't think he'll be too upset about that.
Yeah, it's not like it cost him pole position. Although it was fairly aggressive from Hector Barbara, who ended that session down in 21st place. Martin got the front of the first since Phillip Island in Australia last October. Given his form of late, you won't be getting too long odds of Marcel Schrotter finishing on the podium tomorrow, which would be the first of his career. Long overdue, many people will feel.
Decent job done by Pekka Bagnaia, the championship leader there. Who's he looking for here? He's putting his arm up to Domi Jägerter. Is he upset with Domi? Something maybe on the last lap? I don't think he's waving to say welcome back, Domi.
No. I think Domi's just pointing there and saying, what, me? Yeah, I don't think as well you can blame Domi Jägerter given his physical condition that he's trying to find a toe behind one of the fastest riders in the world championship leader. Not for the first time this year. We've seen Pekka Bagnaia just get a little bit agitated and a little bit hot on the collar when he feels like somebody's trailing in, but that's all part and parcel. That's the name of the game in many respects.
Well, the 32-year-old will be pole position once more. He picked up his first Moto2 pole in Brno last year, and then 6 have come along. It's unbelievable, isn't it, really?
Yeah, he hasn't got a phenomenal record though, has he, Steve, from this position? All 5 of his Moto2 poles last year, he didn't finish in 3 of them. He needs to improve that conversion rate, shall we say.
Another front row start for Alex Marquez. This is 4th this year. Job done. Solid result back in France. Something to build on.
Yeah, and he was 3rd in the race last year, fighting Pesini on the last lap. Not what Joan Mir was hoping for in that session. His pre-session prediction would have been much higher than the back of the 3rd row in 9th, after being 2nd and Pesini's closest challenger in practice. So he's got a bit of work to do coming through the pack, but we know that when you need to get your elbows out and make yourself wide, Joan Mir's not shy in that department.
No, what's crucial for Mir, Matt, is that he is good on Sundays, and also it will be cooler by the time these guys get out racing tomorrow, and Mir was very, very fast. three earlier.
He's going to have to work hard to come through though. He's got Baldassari, Marini, Fenati and Corsi just ahead of him, and they're not going to give him places without an almighty fight, that's for sure.
Locked, stock and two smoking barrels springs to mind. Here he is then, Mattia Pizzini. Not total jubilation, because he knows that it's all about tomorrow, but that's a nice little touch there for him, especially at Mugello.
Best we've seen from Simone Corsi this season. The perfect time to find a bit of form. As we said earlier on, it's his 250th Grand Prix start tomorrow. Big smile on the face of the vastly experienced 30-year-old. He's had point scoring finishes in 4 or 5 this year, but not been able to find himself in the top 10. In fact, no top 6 and 11 since Silverstone last August, long time ago for Simone Corsi. When you think that last year he had his best year in Moto2 since 2011. So he faded a little bit towards the back end of last season.
Circuit announcer getting excited as ever here. A fair few fans have stayed on to give him a warm round of applause as well. Solid job done here by Lorenzo Baldassari, considering his bike was upside down.
Yeah, tomorrow, yeah, he's got work to do from 8th place on the grid, but has had a podium finish here before, second from the front row in 2016 when he really hounded Johan Zarco late on in that race. Alex Marquez though back on the front row of the grid behind Pizzini and Schroeder. He's now down in Parc Ferme talking to Simon Cray for all about it.
Alex, another front row start. Was the heat a problem at the end group wise?
Well, I'm happy to be in the front row. Was my target for this quali, because tomorrow for sure will be a tough race. Congratulations. Will be a tough race, but anyway, yeah, in the end I expect to improve a little bit the lap time, but many traffic, many people waiting, many people stop in the middle, but anyway, I'm happy to be in the front row. Tomorrow is the important day. Tomorrow the Italian guys will be really hard and really difficult to beat day, but I will try it, and we have a good rhythm, so I will try to be competitive from the first lap.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to Alex Marquez. He knows all about how hard it will be to beat the Italians on home soil. He's got a good reference from last year, thanks to Mattia Pizzini's last lap heroics. But he's right there in the game. Alex Marquez, he's got a good race pace, good race rhythm. Podiums in 3 of the opening 5 races for Alex Marquez. He'll be desperate to get back to winning ways though. There's 1 win in the last 15 races as we look at Fabio Quartararo. Not looking exactly over enamoured with life right now. 16th place and outpaced by his teammate Danny Kent, who was 1 place further up. Although he did manage a little wink there for the cameras, and he'll be hoping for a stronger race tomorrow. He was inside that top 10 for a while, but here's Marcel Schroeder, arguably in the form of his life, a career best 4th place last time at Le Mans, back on the front row for the first time. Talking to Simon.
Marcel, your stunning form continues. What has made this possible recently?
All season already I felt good with the bike and good with the team. I mean, even last year I know I have the experience, I have the team, everything, but of course last year with the Suter it has been a really difficult start, but even then we improved until my injury. And this year we started well. Qatar already fighting for the top 5, in the end 7th, but which is a good start into the season. And then I just missed out on qualifying. I came 2 times from P20, so we saw that I have a good pace. We kept working to improve, especially in qualifying. And I'm really happy to make it happen today. Almost pole position, but anyway, Mattia did a great job, and I knew he won't give up, so especially at home. But anyway, I'm really happy with what I did in the first run. Some good laps. Now looking forward to tomorrow, and hopefully we can do a good race.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Marcel. Chapter and verse from him. Great start to the year. 4 top 10 finishes in the first 5 races of 2018. He'd love to make it 5 from 6 in tomorrow's 20-lap Italian Grand Prix. He missed out on that first ever pole position by just 300ths of a second, and the man to deny him, a very popular Pacini here in Mugello, a fantastic 151.575 from the Italtrans Racing team, man, and I'm sure he's going to be absolutely ecstatic when he comes to talk to Simon Craper very soon. He was the race winner here, of course, 1 year ago in Moto2 after that epic last lap battle with Tom Luthi and Alex Marquez. He's on pole position here, the 32-year-old Italian, in his home Grand Prix. All smiles from Mattia Pacini, and he's talking to Simon in Parc Ferme.
Mattia, you were the fastest rider here last year. So far, you're on target for the same. How do you feel about going in tomorrow?
It's every time is a nice pleasure ride here in Mugello, because I enjoy every corner, every lap, and in one moment I stay alone on the bike, like I'm here to test, no? Because it's a very funny ride here, and at the end become the pole position, because this weekend we're working quite good, and we will see tomorrow which kind of race will be, because for sure will be a long race, will be hot race, there is so many riders with a great pace. Then our objective is still stay in the top 5 and try to fighting for the podium, and we will see what happens tomorrow. But I'm happy, so confident with the bike, with the track. This is very good.
Best of luck, Mattia.
Yeah, congratulations to Mattia Pacini. Those sunglasses are as loud as the reception he got from the crowd when he took that pole position. But he's well set for a second successive victory here in Mugello. He got the job done brilliantly here last year. He got the job done brilliantly here this afternoon in qualifying. 300ths clear of Marcel Schrott at the end of that qualifying session. He looks in good nick to take 25 points tomorrow.
Just had a phone call from Dame Edna Everidge. She wants her glasses back.
Elton John would be proud of those ones, wouldn't he? He was on song today though, that man. And he is going to be a strong opposition tomorrow for the likes of Schrotter, Marquez, World Champions leader Pekka Bagnaia with work to do from 4th. So confirmation then, a brilliant, almost record-breaking lap from Mattia Pacini. Takes pole position here in front of his home crowd in Mugello. 151.575, just edging out Marcel Schrotter and Alex Marquez. Row 2 headed by World Champions leader Pekka Bagnaia. And Simone Corsi's 250th start will go from 5th on the grid ahead of Romano Finati. Great job there by the rookie in 6th place. Marini, Baldassari despite a fall at turn 10, and Joan Mir on row 2. The top 10 completed by Jorge Navarro. The problems go on for KTM in qualifying. Miguel Oliveira in 11th place. His teammate Brad Binder way out of sorts, strangely out of sorts in 19th place. Oliveira just outpacing the likes of Xavi Vierge. A career best qualifying there, worth a mention to Tetsuta Nagashima in 13th place. He was ahead of the 2 Brits, Sam Rose and Danny Ken. Stefano Manzi took a big tumble in 20th place. He was perfectly okay, just behind Brad Binder, the South African, really struggling in 19th place. Bo Benschneider was 23rd, but just 1.1 seconds off pole position at the end of a super tight session. Hector Gartho there into the injured Remy Gardner in 32nd place. His weekend got off to a bad start with a crash in FP1, and Xavi Cardelus, the wild card from Andorra, in 33rd place. But it was all about Cassini power today.
Yes, a magic performance in Mugello for Mattia here in Moto2. That's it for qualifying. Pizzini on pole for the Italian Grand Prix. Round 6 of the MotoGP World Championship. Well, it'll be race day tomorrow. Be sure to join us. The atmosphere is going to be electric. From Simon Crafar, Matt Dunn. Matt Dunn? Matt Burt? Well, say thanks to Matt Dunn and Neil Morrison as well. And myself, Steve Day. Thanks for joining us here today. We'll see you for warm-up tomorrow and then race day. Does improve his times and moves up to 14th overall, but he's lost about half a second there in the final sector.
Yeah, I suppose it's a little bit like Le Mans, isn't it? You forget that Alex Rins, again, he wasn't here last year. He was injured. He was replaced by Sylvain Guintoli, of course, the former world superbike champion. There is Andrea Iannone, man of the moment in Mugello, the maniac. How was that first, well, that third run for him? A 1:47.749 was the best in that session, or in that run. That's half a second off his best time set so far.
Here's a replay earlier when Rossi was following Andrea Iannone. Eyes always drawn to the leathers at the top there.
Yeah, the leathers are flapping around in the wind, but Andrea Iannone so far this weekend has been completely unflappable, hasn't he? Can he continue that golden run in FP3 this morning? Still leads the way.
Looks like a cape, doesn't it? It's like a Superman cape.
Well, he's riding like a superhero this morning again. It's been his weekend so far. Simon.
Guys, I'm in the KTM garage with Pit Byra, the team manager and ex-motocross world champion. Pit,
Hello? Sorry, Simon. We're just going to have to cut in there. We were losing you. You're cutting in and out a bit there, so maybe you've got water in the works. It looks like they're going to try and continue, but we've got a few problems there, so I apologise about that. We'll hopefully get Simon. We can hear you, Simon, but it's
sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Pit, I can imagine from looking at the speed sheets that you're quite proud of the speed of the KTM so far.
Yeah, I mean, we all see that the Ducatis are ahead of everybody, but then with the other top bikes we are there with the top speed. This is maybe the only positive news for us this morning. Top speed is there, but as we all know, that doesn't make the lap time. But yeah, it's at least one very, very important and good topic.
I noticed in the debrief both your riders mentioning the downhill turning in areas that they're struggling with here. Have you got some ideas how to fix that, improve it in that area?
To be really honest, we tried some different things this morning. They all didn't really help and improve, so looks like we are really suffering on this track this weekend, and I think we have to go back to the basic package from yesterday, which is like our best overall package we had so far, and they need to squeeze out everything out of this package, so there will be no easy solution today. Good luck, Pit.
Yeah, thanks to Pit Byra there and to Simon Crafar. KTM had a disaster here last year as well. They really struggled around Mugello, and it looks like the same story.
Oh, look at this, Steve. Look at this. Rossi. You're on board with Rossi now. He's just come through sector 2. He's up by half a tenth. The crowd are about to go ballistic here in Mugello if this man suddenly finds himself going from 9th to top spot.
Brand new rubber in, no surprise there. Under 7 minutes left. It's going to get mighty busy now. 46.7 is the fastest time set by Andrea Iannone. What has Rossi got then through sector 3? This is going to be crucial.
Marquez made a mistake in sector 2, didn't he? He was quick through sector 1, Marquez, but he's lost nearly a second. Rossi's come through sector 3, through Biondetti 1 and 2, no dramas. Valentino Rossi then, he's up now by just over a tenth of a second. He's got nobody impeding him at the final corner. He won't get any slipstream, but is this Rossi going from 9th, the 9 times world champion, to the top of the leaderboard here in Mugello? Brace yourself, folks. The roof's about to be raised.
6 minutes left in this session in FP3. Rossi was 9th and he goes second. He lost some time there in the final sector. He lost a big chunk as well. That's a surprise. Andrea Iannone then remains fastest, but Rossi lifts himself up into second. It's going to be all action now, though, because everybody will have fresh rubber on. Now, Marc Marquez, as Matt rightly pointed out, obviously this lap has gone away from him. Once again he's got Franco Morbidelli with a hook fin just behind him, who improves and moves up into 11th place, but Morbidelli there not interested in making a move on Marc.
Yeah, Rossi again really strong in that first sector, up by over a tenth of a second. This is what happened to Marquez on that last time around. He'd been quick through the first sector. This is at turn number 6. Yeah, he got in hot, he got it chattering on the front end as he trail braked in. That's through Casanova.
And Franco Morbidelli really alert there as well, because that could have been a little bit messy.
We've got red helmets coming everywhere. Dovizioso quick in the first sector, as was Morbidelli with the slipstream behind Marc Marquez. Back with Rossi. This is Rossi then through sector 2, and he's still up. Dovizioso right on the cusp. He needs a good lap here, Andrea Dovizioso, 2017 Mugello winner, to make sure that he's not got any late dramas, and he goes straight into Q2.
Marc Marquez is 2 tenths up after sector 2, though. Could that be rather ominous? Now we know that Andrea Iannone is strong in that 3rd and 4th sector.
Yeah, Rossi's got Miller for company as well. Rossi, there he is now. We pick him up at the final corner. Just behind him is Jack Miller, who's getting ready to wind up that new GP17 motor. We'll stick with Rossi though. All nice and clean. Good drive out of that final turn for Rossi. Has he done enough this time to take over from Andrea Iannone at the top of the timesheets? Rossi comes to the line now. He stays in second place, 147.022.
Marquez, though, is on a flyer. Dovizioso across the line first. He'll improve from 10th. He won't challenge the top spot, but Marquez is moving the goalpost across the line for Dovi. He goes 3rd, but here comes Marc Marquez on the home straight any second now.
And behind him is Morbidelli, who's also up. Franco Morbidelli might be using Marc Marquez perfectly here. They're coming over the line now. Marquez goes top, Morbidelli goes 4th. What a lap. 46.439 by Marc Marquez. Fastest lap of the weekend so far. The best lap we've ever seen by a MotoGP bike here at Mugello. He always finds a way when he needs it, Marc Marquez, to deliver the killer blow. What a lap.
Fantastic stuff from the world champion then, and what a job again by Franco Morbidelli, just like yesterday. He follows Marc Marquez and lifts himself up to 4th now. That is crucially put Crutchlow down and out. Aleix Espargaro just crossed the line and improved as well. So Petrucci, Crutchlow, Lorenzo, Rins, all out. Pedrosa's found something from somewhere. He's up into 8th place now.
Good job by Pedrosa. So you're looking at the fastest man in history around the Mugello circuit. Andrea Iannone's circuit best lap in 2015 at 146.489. That's just been bettered by Marc Marquez. Fantastic job by Morbidelli as well, as Steve said. So the only man now in the top 5 that's not improved is Andrea Iannone, although it looks like he has done enough thanks to that early 146.792 to secure safe passage to Q2. That's all that he's going to be worried about.
Now there's such a big gap that anything within 4 or 5 tenths at the moment is going to get themselves a place into Q2, and Jorge Lorenzo looking to do just that. Jack Miller's fallen down to 9th, but he might just lift himself up here with this lap. The number 43 across the line goes up to 7th. Good job from the Aussie. Still a couple of minutes left as well. What about Lorenzo?
Yeah, this might well be enough, Steve. Lorenzo might have done it here. Still 2.5 minutes running. Yeah, great lap by Lorenzo. Got it to 146. It's a brilliant job. 146.782. Lorenzo up in the 3rd place, and that's pushed Zarco to 11.
And Danilo Petrucci's on another decent lap as well, and so he might climb back in and does. He goes up to 5th, so Pedrosa's now out. Pedrosa, Zarco, Crutchlow, Rins all out. Pedrosa again crosses the line and sneaks his nose back in there again.
What about Nakagami? Taka Nakagami, oh, just outside, 12th place from Taka Nakagami. He's missed out there by just 300ths of a second. Great effort by the Japanese rider. He's going to get in another lap, although it looks like he's cruising, so it's session over for Nakagami. That was his all or nothing lap, and it wasn't quite enough.
Cal Crutchlow here at the moment is out, but he's on a decent lap, and this would put him in if he can hold it all together. The LCR rider a bit squiggly there on the exit, but he's now coming into the final turn. Cal Crutchlow then, in fact this is really important because Zarco and Rins also outside at the moment are all on decent laps. There could be a lot here in the closing minutes.
Yeah, and it looks like Danny Pedrosa's session's finished. Pedrosa's out cruising, so Danny Pedrosa at the moment in 10th place, looking really, really vulnerable, and that's exactly why Crutchlow's moved him out of that top 10. Crutchlow goes 6, a 146.946. So what about Zarco? We're on board now with the Flying Frenchman. He won't want to go into Q1, give himself an extra 15 minutes of work. Has he done enough? Zarco down in 14th place, being pursued by Alex Rins. Have the pair of them got inside that top 10? Zarco 9th, Rins only 12th. Vinales now will be sweating. Jack Miller's been pushed out of the top 10. Wasn't that long ago, Steve, that Miller was 4th.
No, Vinales' lap has gone away from him as well. He might just sneak across the line for one more. Jorge Lorenzo lost time in sector 3, but at the moment he should be safe in 3rd anyway. He'll get one more lap in just for good measure. So Miller's now outside the top 10 now.
So just 2 riders in the entire field that haven't improved their pace this morning. Andrea Iannone and Maverick Vinales, but it looks like Vinales is probably going to survive. Looks like he's just about, thanks to that 147.122 set yesterday afternoon, that's going to just squeeze him in.
Is anything going to change late on here? There's 10 seconds left until the checkered flag comes out. Marquez, Iannone, Lorenzo, Rossi and Petrucci are well safe. You should think Crutchlow may well be, and Morbidelli also. Dovi, Zarco and Vinales, could their positions and fate change here with a few last lap dashes? Miller's on a decent one.
It could well do, Steve. Yeah, you're right. Miller is on a decent one. He's just put in his personal best first sector, Jack Miller. He's just put in his personal best second sector, Jack Miller, and Jack Miller at the moment, he is only outside of Marc Marquez's best time by over 1/10 of a second. So Maverick Vinales here, there could be a late twist, a late sting in the tail for the factory Yamaha man, because Jack Miller, if he stays on course on this lap, he's going to be pushing Vinales out of that crucial top 10.
And Alex Rins is still clinging onto something here as well in the latter stages. The checkered flag is out then. Marquez, no one will interrupt that fastest time that we've ever seen around this circuit. Here is Rins. Can he find something at the end of this session as well? Miller's lap's gone away.
Miller's made a mistake in sector 3, surely. He's lost almost 6/10 of a second, so Maverick Vinales...
Rins is done it. Rins has pumped Maverick Vinales out. Maverick Vinales is not going to do it, and this lap's gone as well, and so he's going to have to go through Q1. Wow, unreal. When you consider the day he had yesterday, the smile is going to get wiped clean off his face now.
This is just the story of his 2018, Steve. He's just up and down like a yo-yo. One day he's looks like he's unbeatable and untouchable. The next day, it looks like he's riding a Yamaha for the first time.
Rossi here is looking to try and move up into second spot. He won't challenge Marquez, but this is a decent lap. It's been a good session here on the brand new tyres. Has he just run into his protege at the wrong moment here, or is it perfect timing? Will he get slipstream from Franco Morbidelli onto the home straight we go? That might work out all right. Let's see. Across across the line then. Rossi's already safely into Q2. He crosses the line and goes third, a 46.775 for the Doctor.
Yeah, job well done then for Rossi. Yeah, nod of approval from some of his close allies in that Movistar Yamaha garage. So Rossi third with a late 146.775. But not such good news for his teammate here, Maverick Vinales, who was nudged out right at the end. He's going to have to go into Q1 later on. An extra 15 minutes of work for Vinales. He was just the only one of two with Andrea Iannone that didn't improve in that session. It was immaterial for Iannone. His pace was so hot. He was already safely into that second qualifying session.
Shout out to Morbidelli, 8th place, absolutely stonking job from him. And Matt, let's be honest with Maverick Vinales, it's not exactly written in stone that he's going to make it through. Look who he's going to be joined by.
Class opposition.
Some good opposition in Q1 later.
Jack Miller, he'll be frustrated that he missed out. Danny Pedrosa was in there. Alexis Spargo, and he needs to fire in a hot lap. He won't be a million miles behind as well. Yeah, Franco Morbidelli, first time he's gone into Q2. Great job, considering that he wasn't here for the private test a couple of weeks ago. Never ridden anything other than a standard Fireblade Honda around this Mugello circuit, so that is a top job by Franco Morbidelli. He did get his hooks into this man Marc Marquez, but if you're going to follow anybody around Mugello, you might as well make it the man who has just set the fastest ever lap on two wheels around this famous Italian venue. Confirmation on your screens. We thought yesterday that Andrea Iannone's 3-year-old outright record lap would go, and it has done by exactly half a tenth. Marc Marquez again doing the business. What a runner form he's in, Steve, at the moment.
He is done on the steel frame there as well from Marc Marquez. Just doesn't seem to be any stopping him. Any hurdles you put in the way of Marc Marquez, and he is clearing them. Andrea Dovizioso will be relieved, I think, that he hasn't got to go through Q1, but there's still work to do there for the Ducati rider. Practice start there for Marc Marquez, much like the rest of his season so far, pretty faultless. So Marquez fastest from Iannone. Rossi, well, that'll please the fans going qualifying later, seeing Rossi in that position, elbow down. Well, we've just become so used to seeing that from Marc Marquez.
Oh, just a beautiful slow motion shot. You could just see where he was just rolling off the throttle and then winding the power back in. Beautiful slow motion replay there. That's at the famous Scarpa corner, where his teammate Danny Pedrosa wiped out Cal Crutchlow on the last lap last year. What a Crutchlow had a slight sense of humour fade about that. What a lap, what a performance by Marc Marquez, the best we've ever seen here in Mugello. The fans will be pretty happy. Behind him were two of their home favourites, this man Andrea Iannone, who, although he didn't improve compared to yesterday, he's so good. He didn't need to improve because he was in second place, and Rossi late on, he was already safely in that top 10 in 5th. Good measure. Fired in a late 146.775 to leave nothing to chance and left nothing to doubt. He's safely through to Q2.
Marquez then just continuing to roll. Iannone with a point to prove, and this man Valentino Rossi with a crowd to please, and so often he has delivered. He said in the press conference on Thursday, it's different testing in Mugello to actually racing here over the weekend. And someone interestingly mentioned the 12th man in football that you sometimes get from the crowd. He must be lifted when he sees this, and he has delivered. There's a wave to the crowd, there's a wink as well, there's a smile on the face. Valentino Rossi is back in town.
The wave, it's like the emperor in the Colosseum, isn't it, for Valentino Rossi? He is absolutely adored here, isn't he? And they'll love him even more with that tricolor Italian flag special one-off helmet. He always traditionally on a Saturday morning here in Mugello delights the fans all around the world with his one-off AGV lid. Today no exception. So It took a record-breaking performance from Marc Marquez to deny Andrea Iannone a clean sweep of the opening 3 practice sessions. A breathless and breathtaking 146.439 by the Repsol Honda man, the reigning world champion and the current world championship leader. He led that FP3 session, half a tenth inside the previous circuit best lap, which was Andrea Iannone's when he was a Ducati man back in 2015. We'll get confirmation on your screens very, very shortly of how the runners and riders finished at the end of that 3rd practice session. As we said, Marquez, the 146.439, putting him safely into Q2. Not such good news for his fellow Spaniard Maverick Viñales though. He was the big casualty, missing out in 11th. There is confirmation then on your screens of that record-breaking lap by Marquez, 146.439. Andrea Iannone, the only man inside the top 10 that didn't improve his lap time, but he was safely into